Hi there, I'm Courtney Edens. I'm a MBA candidate at the University of Denver with a concentration in marketing at South by Southwest, and just wrapped up Creating Happiness, the Art and Science of Disney Parks Storytelling with Josh D'Amaro, the chairman of Disney Parks Experiences and Products. Josh kicked off the keynote with a little bit of history around Disney, which I think many of us are familiar with, but over 100 years ago, or right around 100 years ago, Walt Disney moved to LA, and Josh referred to Mickey Mouse as like the startup moment of Disney. There was a few trials before Mickey was created and a few failures along the way, but finally in 1928, Mickey was the upstart moment of Disney. And from there, obviously, Walt built the Disney that we know today, which is such a pinnacle brand. And we talked about how Disney was built on three core ideas, or three core values, which are storytelling, creativity, and innovation. And that's all the how, but the why is to create more happiness in the world. It's the most magical place on earth, and Walt's vision was to create happiness. And talked a bit about how happiness is a shared experience, and Disney as a brand and a company saw that, when we're happy, we remember things a lot more clearly and for longer. And that creates some stickiness with the brand and some, very strong brand loyalty. So that's how Disney truly immerses their guests through stories, and that makes those memories extremely sticky and keeps them coming back. We talked a bit through like 3, 4, 5, 6 key ingredients that Disney uses to propel storytelling. The first is environments, and this was interesting because we talked through so many different details. Environments are all just everything from how you're transported into the park. Like, are you on a ferry boat? Like, who's all on the ferry boat with you? Like, how is that decorated and styled? Like, what story are they propelling forward with that ferry boat? We also talked quite a bit about visual landscapes. So Star Wars is obviously just so popular right now, so that was a really big example, but details are everything there too. Like, if you go to Galaxy's Edge in California or Florida, R2D2's tracks are like engraved in the ground, and yeah, not the everyday Disney customer might notice that, but the loyalists, the Star Wars fanatics, they're going to see that and they're going to be over the moon delighted, and they're going to recognize what that is, and they're going to feel really, really cool that they know what that is too, and point it out to everyone that they're with and the people around them. So those attention to details in the Disney environments is a big key ingredient for them. The second one is one I didn't think about too much as someone who has been to Disney, but food. Food provokes your senses, it creates powerful memories, and it's really tied to storytelling. And they have this R&D department at a food lab. They only showed a picture of it because I guess it's very top secret, but they're constantly innovating with food. There's like, if we're really leaning into memory building, food is such a big piece of that. Like, oh, remember that time we went to Disney and we ate at this restaurant and what we had? It's something that they're thinking about very deeply. The third was music and sound, and that's everything from It's a Small World to standing in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and hearing the sound of, the Millennium Falcon flying over your head, and how that really immerses you in that storytelling experience. Then the lightsabers came out when we talked about visual effects, and the way that the crowd reacted to that, storytelling 101. We even had some Imagineers come out who architect every last detail, and they talked through how it took over 100 prototypes to get to the evolved lightsaber that they showed today. They even talked about some AI character development. So Tinkerbell, this is hard to articulate, but Tinkerbell was in the room today through some kind of AI. Yeah, I don't even know how to describe it, but fully interactive, answered questions in real time. It must have been a live character, but yeah, just developing those characters beyond the screen. Their investments in technology, in AI and robotics is just beyond. And then the last thing we talked about was the cast, another key ingredient, but that high touch engagement with customers of the park in real time that surprise and delight people as they walk around the park. And you know, Josh talked about seeing grown men cry when they see Chewbacca, and it's all in service to happiness, right? So he concluded the session by just talking about how Disney will always be oriented towards the future. They're always going to be invested in innovation, and their optimism propels their storytelling forward, and it services happiness. And the question of how does this apply to digital marketing? I mean, how does this not apply to digital marketing is really the question. But thinking about these key ingredients, I work in e-commerce, so these environments, the environments are your website. How is your website structured? What is the visual landscape of your website? Does it draw the customer in? Does it make them feel loyal to you? Does it connect on some kind of emotional level? Food obviously doesn't apply here, but music and sound. When you don't want to be blasted with a song when you land on a website. However, when you add something to cart, is there a song or a sound that can be played that triggers some kind of emotional connection in the brain, and creates some kind of happy moment? That might be the case, and there's probably some research out there around that. Further visual effects, again, like you're scanning products on a website. Maybe you're selling t-shirts, and when you scan over the t-shirt, there's a very nice zoom in of the applique on the t-shirt, things like that, like visual effects, and really wrapping it all up into some kind of storytelling and brand, whatever that might be. But yeah, incredible session. So glad I went to that. I was on the fence between two, but what a great way to kick off South by. Thanks.